to get the ball rebounded, does to Green. Green for the win. No! It's 4 straight losses for the Rockets. And this one really hurts as the Nets pull off the miracle with 2 threes in less than 6 seconds to turn a deficit into a 2-point win in a stunning, shocking loss for the Houston Rockets.
Great call by Craig Ackerman on the Space City home network of an absolutely disastrous finish for the Houston Rockets and a 99-97 choke of a loss against the god-awful 17-33, 5 wins at home at the time, Brooklyn Nets. Hello and welcome aboard, Gallant and George. It is Wednesday, February 5th of 2025. Sean Maves behind the glass. Joe George to my right. I am Paul Gallant. I'm going to need to have Sean's finger ready because last night demands an expletive and a war, a crusade against the FCC. To quote the psychotic coach from the hit Hulu television show Letterkenny, fucking embarrassing. That was embarrassing last night.
That was a ugly loss. As I nearly died to start the show.
You almost choked.
I know.
But the Rockets choked harder.
They passed it on to me. They're passing the chokeness. That's not a word. Around all of us, apparently. That was ugly, Paul. Get the ball in bounds to someone. Don't just stand there as it's bouncing up the court. That's what Jae'Sean Tate and Jalen Green were doing. Like they just watched it go to the Brooklyn Nets player. I know they're a young team, but that's one that no matter what the quality of team you're watching is a terrible, terrible loss. And really, it's not just the last 4 games. I think we have to go back to the Atlanta game too and include that where, yes, they won 100-96 on the 28th, but remember they almost blew that game. They had a 16-point lead in that game and they only won by 4, outplayed again in the fourth quarter of that game, only scoring 18 points. They've got a fourth quarter problem.
Yes, I saw Lance Zierlein put out a tweet before the game showing their stats in the fourth quarter. We talked yesterday about how they have the 24th ranked fourth quarter differential, but this was a game that I thought that they gave away in the third quarter. And they allowed a game where they had everyone back to get to a point where Brooklyn could have something like this at the end of the game. In case you didn't hear it, I really do think that Craig Ackerman and Ryan Hollins have been crushing it this year as the Rockets are finally good. But over the last 4, it's been rough. And the agony in their voice, in case you missed it last night, truly doesn't even paint as good of a picture of what a effing disaster that was.
Johnson made it. This is still a game. And oh, Lord, no. Russell! Are you kidding me? I cannot believe that just happened.
So the Nets, they make a 3. Amen Thompson's trying to inbound the ball. The Nets have some pretty good defense under the hoop. He can't get it to anybody in an easy way. He tries his hardest to inbound the pass, and it just rolls straight out to D'Angelo Russell, who hits that 3. The last Rockets shot, 31-foot by Jalen Green, misses, and that's 4 straight losses.
Yeah, I don't know. Ime got to call timeout. Amen also had another 2 seconds there to not panic, but I think it's all bad at the end there. It's the defense, it's the offense, it's the game plan. Because I think Ime does deserve a little bit of criticism here for what's happening at the end of the games. You are the coach of this team. You can call them soft, rightfully so, for the way they play defense. But what's happened these last couple games is it seems like it's a struggle from top down, the execution at the end of the game. I just don't think we can pin this all on the players. I don't think we would do that in any other sport. We would look at the coach a little bit too and just say like something is going wrong here.
I'm gonna pin it on the players. They're not listening to Ime Udoka. I feel pretty strongly about that. You got to be focused at the end of the game. It's the second night of a back-to-back. I get it that your legs are tired, but Alperen Sengun's back. Okay, you missed 6 free throws.
Yep,
that happened. Jalen Green, a 5 for 14 performance. He did have some good moments defensively, but you see some of the same out of control stuff. I don't know what you're supposed to do if you're Ime Udoka when with a minute 07 to go, after you would just hit a 3 and you play some good defense, you get the ball back. You got Reed Sheppard, who played great outside of this moment, shooting a heat check transition 3 attempt with 21 seconds left on the shot clock and 1:03 to play. Clank. Rockets get the offensive rebound. Sengun tries to put it back up. Doesn't go in. Rockets get another offensive rebound. They fire it back out to Jalen Green, who shoots immediately with 10 seconds left on the shot clock, 57 to play. It's stuff like that where, yes, you don't want to be too conservative. You don't want to completely stop trying to score points, but you got to know this isn't something that Ime Udoka needs to call a timeout for and say, hey guys, you know you're winning and you know you have to run out the clock, right? And they got careless in that spot and in other spots down the stretch. And that's how Brooklyn pulls this one out of their ass.
Honestly, I do think the 2 threes there, specifically the Reed Sheppard one, are probably like really where it felt like the game was unraveling. Cause if they're taking that shot, like they're kind of just like unaware, maybe is the best way to put it, of like what's going on around them. Like it's a terrible shot selection in general, just even in a good moment. And I give Ime credit for putting Reed in and letting him play 28 minutes last night, his best game as a pro. But that's a terrible shot. And again, to what you said, Jalen with 10 seconds left to rip a 3 again, just go to the paint, try to get to the free throw line. Don't be just taking shots to take shots. And that's what it felt like there in the fourth quarters, where I don't know if they just felt like their 3 was going to put the game away, but it really just felt like it was just, well, this is all I know how to do. And with Reed, I get it. I get that with Reed Sheppard. He's a rookie. Like that is all he knows how to do. Basically.
He's barely played.
He's barely played. So like, I'm not going to crush Reed Sheppard too much for it, but Jalen, it's all of it. Again, it's Jalen Green and Jae'Sean Tate really just watching the ball dribble to D'Angelo Russell and not running towards it. Because at least they could have put some defense on them if they would have just moved their feet.
Some comments are suggesting, hey, if Red Van Vliet's out there, they calm down a little bit more. Youth is showing, especially without Fred, writes one texter. Sure, I agree with that. It's still Brooklyn. You should win that game, even if it's the second night of a back-to-back, especially when you're getting Alperen Sengun back. This is a very deep team, even with the injuries that they have. Tari Eason didn't play. Fred Van Vliet didn't play. You got a lot of Reed Sheppard last night, but what? You can't make it work with the rest of your guys? I do wonder about Aaron Holiday going forward, given that Reed Sheppard seemed to be giving more on both ends of the court all night long. But now they make a trade today, right before the trade deadline. They don't have to give up anything to get it. They get from the Boston Celtics someone who I would imagine Ime Udoka would have a massive rocket in his pocket about. I'm talking about Jaden Springer, who is a just psycho hustle player.
Mm-hmm.
But, hey, it's great to have guys like that. Still, though, there's common sense things that I don't care if you're young. These are things you got to know.
Yeah. No, they are. And to the Fred Van Vliet point, he's not going to be on this team forever. He might not be on this team next season. It's not just you have to be able to do these things without him. Yes, that's what he's there for, to help be a leader of this team in these moments. And maybe he's doing like the inbound pass at the end instead of, but also, are we sure Fred Van Vliet's not just ripping these 3s that Reed Sheppard took? The guy who says he doesn't care about how many shots he takes and when he takes them? Like there's no
fair.
I mean, we just don't know. Like Fred's not going to do the exact same thing in that moment. So
I'd like to think at the end of the game that he would know better, but you're right. I mean, if it's open, and it was open for Reed in transition, maybe they take it. But that Reed Sheppard 3 was 100% I watched TikTok 3. That was entirely Kobe. I mean, this was hero ball to the max. Reed, you're not Steph Curry.
It's my least favorite shot in basketball right now. Is the transition three where you have some numbers and guys just rip threes. I don't care what point of the game it's at.
Right. Some players can take it, and when you hit it, it's awesome.
Yes.
But Reed Sheppard has not been given that pass yet. I will give him he's allowed to slap the court whenever he wants pass because he is 100% the hardworking stereotype of every single West Coast Conference kid sitting on the end of the bench waving a towel.
Yeah,
like
first one in, last one out, coach's kid, all that stuff.
Yeah, or he just looks the part. I mean, much like on my new flag football team, I look very unassuming, to be frank. On the Rockets, Reed Sheppard looks unassuming. And he played well. It's a shame. I mean, he wasn't the most efficient night shooting, and that was a bad moment for him. But there are plenty of other opportunities for the Rockets to win this one, and they blow it. And it's been a trend. They've lost 4 in a row, but in some of the games that they won before that, they were also struggling at the end.